Haud Yer
Yer
Wheesht.
Welcome to Haud Yer Wheesht, the podcast where we do everything but Haud Yer Wheesht. My name is Moscow, and your other hosts consist of the fantastic Shaun
Hello.
and Erin.
Hello.
As this is the first episode, I thought we would take a really relaxed, getting to know us approach and getting to know what the podcast is all about as well. This podcast will focus on a random topic each episode, whatever we decide to bring to the table. We hope it'll be educational, inspirational, or maybe just, a chilled time listening with friends. But let's find out all about the hosts then, shall we? Shaun, do you want to tell us all about yourself?
Aye. So, as suggested, my name is Shaun. He, him, and I am a vlogger for Scotland, Edinburgh, the best city in Scotland. I talk on my YouTube channel mostly about my life in Scotland and Edinburgh, and I love to travel, so I also do a lot of videos about travelling. For example, I've just spent the last 5 weeks in Brazil, and I'm literally back yesterday, so I'm a bit jet lagged. What else do I like? I like technology, new things. And I like meeting people from all around the world and learning about new cultures and new things and just having a bit of a laugh, really. And that's pretty much me.
Yay! Very excited to have you then, Shaun. And Erin, what about you?
How can I beat that intro? That was so... It sounds like he prepared that.
So good, right?
I really did.
I feel like I'm in... you know how when you meet people, you're at a training session and they're like go around the group and introduce yourselves and tell a fun fact. I feel like that.
Oh yeah,
I
if you want to
always
give
get
us an
nervous.
interesting fact, go for it.
Nope.
I hate those things.
So
I hate those things. Whenever that happens to me, I'm like, my name's Shaun, and that's me.
I like biscuits. I don't know. Okay. So I'm Erin. My pronouns are she, her. I have a YouTube channel called Beauty Creep where I make videos about like Scotland, the outdoors, just life, sometimes creepy things. I used to make period videos. I do videos about absolutely everything. I'm also a support worker for people with dementia. And what do I like? I like reading. I used to go hill walking all the time, but I haven't actually left my house in a long time. So yeah, podcasting's going to be my new hobby. And yeah, I don't know, binging stuff on Netflix, is that a hobby?
It is.
I do German sometimes.
You do? Are you studying German?
No, I just do it on Duolingo, so I just thought that's my interesting fact, I guess.
That's amazing. We're going to have to
So
test you on that at some
interesting.
point in a future episode, I think.
Okay, that means okay in German. I'm also having a gin just now, because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Get on, it's 5:30 here.
It's a good time to crack open
Oh, I
a
know.
gin.
Yeah, I got nervous.
So my name is Moscow. My pronouns are she, her. I go by Wee Scottish Lass on YouTube, and from there you can find all the other social medias I've got. My hobbies and interests vary widely, from gaming to video editing to fan fiction writing to doing professional scare acting and snowboarding. In short, I'm a huge geek. That's all you need to know about me. Massive nerd.
Awesome.
That sounded way more interesting. I'm like, reading.
Reading is good though. Like reading
True.
can be so good. Although I've gotten into audiobooks more than reading books recently.
I wish I could get into audiobooks, but I just can't. But I like podcasts. I'm not just saying that because we're doing one, but I really am obsessed with podcasts. I listen to them all the time. So that's why I was excited when you suggested doing this.
You know, I think like with books, I'm so envious of people like you, Erin, who read a lot, because I've always wanted to read a lot and I can never get into reading. So I've actually done, I'm the opposite of you. I've started to listen to books and I'm starting to get into them a wee bit more. And I feel like there's just so many like life fulfilling books out there that I want to read, like all the classics, you know. And
Yes,
I'm just so
exactly.
envious of people like you who've probably read them all.
Oh, no way. I read like stupid things. I read like I don't know. I go through phases. Like just now I'm reading a book about nature and I just tried to read that Stephen Hawking book and see I've forgotten the name of it already. I was going to say The Land Before Time. It's to do with time. What is it called? Oh my god, I just read it. Well, I don't know. I didn't take much of it in because it's all about physics and I don't know anything about physics. So it was a struggle, but I mean, it's done. I'm probably going to go back to it at some point, but Jesus Christ, it was a roller coaster.
I've just realised there's a couple of hobbies that none of us talked about, but I think that we all have together.
What?
So, right, the first one is something that everybody who watches our videos already knows about us, right? Because
Drinking iron brew.
Drinking iron brew, that's
Anxious
another
noodles.
one. But one hobby that we all have together, because we've all done videos together on it, is chasing ghosts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, we've all done
Good
videos
point.
together on that. Like, I've done videos with Moscow and Edinburgh. Erin, I think we've done some videos on that as well. We've all just done like ghosty stuff.
Yeah,
think-
I never thought of that.
It's hard to live in a place like Scotland that's got so much gruesome history and not be slightly inclined to wanting to figure some of that supernaturally stuff out.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I still remember the first one that we did, Moscow, at the abandoned, what was it, hospital in
Yeah,
Livingston?
Bangor
Shaun.
Village Hospital, yeah.
That was creepy.
You have no idea how weird it is that you just brought that up.
Why?
Because, right, in work today, right, I was working with this wee lady. She's in her 90s and she used to be a nurse. And she said to me, she's like, yeah, I used to, she was talking about how she had tuberculosis when she was younger. And she said, I was in Bangor for a bit.
No
and I
way.
went, oh my
Wow.
God. I was like, I went there with my friends and we walked about and it was obviously abandoned now. And we walked about and filmed and stuff. And she was like, oh, really? And it's so weird that you
That's
just
nuts.
brought coincidence.
That is a coincidence. That's
How
creepy.
weird is that?
We met an old, the first time we went with me in Moscow, we met an old lady who said she was a nurse back then, right? She told us a story about how she used to, remind us, Tammy.
Yeah, I
sorry.
remember
Mine
this.
isn't.
We've got this on camera.
And then the worst
She a
thing
ghost?
is, she just disappeared. I don't know where she went. Maybe she was a ghost. She started speaking to us,
Shut up.
and she was like, "Oh yeah, I was a nurse here back like 100 years ago, or whatever. 100 years, not 100
years
years
ago.
like 50. Back in the war. I was a nurse, and I used to treat all these people. And then she just like disappeared off into the trees.
Yeah, she just vanished.
She just started like,
we
she just
turned around, she was
levitated.
gone.
That was fascinating. But we got her on camera, so she can't. Well, maybe she was a ghost, but everybody else saw her as well.
100 years ago.
That's such a great idea for like a video or something. The way just to
Definitely.
to convince as many people as we can that that was true. That's brilliant.
I know.
We should have filmed like a fake vlog where we were actually being chased by a ghost or something.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be great.
Like-
See, now we've
Do you know-
said it on the podcast. People are going to know to expect it, and it's going to be a fake ghost.
Yeah. Oh, good. I forget I said that.
We'll start doing some like Derek Akora stuff. Like one of us will just start like going into a trance and saying, I can feel his energy.
Well, I
can
have
feel him
done.
inside me. Oh, no.
I've done scare acting plenty times before. So, oh, Erin, you took it there. You took it
I
there.
took it way too far. Remember Derek
Do you know what
Akora?
I
Did you
really-
guys used to watch Most Haunted?
I know that crap is fake. I know that's fake. And I'm like, I want the real. I know people listening to this will be rolling their eyes going, there is no real stuff. But there is. I've got some on my YouTube channel. Check it out.
We've all got it on our YouTube channels. Like that's it. We all believe in it. That's the thing. Like that's why I think it's like a massive hobby of ours that we don't like I don't know, talk about enough. But that's why I thought it'd be cool to bring it up, because like we've all done it and we've all like caught creepy things in our videos. Like another video I did with you, Moscow, in Edinburgh under the dungeons. What do you call
The
it?
vaults. The
The
vaults.
vaults. And there was that
Excuse me?
the creepy sound that we heard.
Aye. I
And, like,
remember that. We shat ourselves, didn't we? We
We
were
shat
like, fuck,
ourselves.
nope.
it's caught
I
on
remember
video.
that.
Caught on video. So like we've all done this. We've all like made these videos, and I think it's like something that we all enjoy.
But there's
Talking
also
about-
that ghostly the ghostly figure that walked past us in the Bangor video, Shaun. Remember, we didn't even
Oh,
notice
yeah.
it until somebody in the audience pointed it out, and then I was like, oh, bugger off. No, it's not. And then I went back and looked at the video, and it's there. My wee Scottish lass Bangor video that we did like 5 years ago or something, where it's at like 7 minutes and 4 seconds or something. I've got it pinned in the comments. A figure walks by us. And
Aye.
there's no glass in that room, there's nothing bouncing lights, there's anywhere other lights could come in from. And we're like, how? Still
See,
not been able to
I remember
explain
seeing that.
I hate these people who send in these comments afterwards and like, oh, I saw something behind you, and I start absolutely freaking out. I'm like going back through and analysing the video second by second, trying to find this thing, and absolutely crapping myself. But I know I love all that stuff, and before I knew it was fake, I used to watch Derek Akora in The Most Haunted. Rest his soul, because I know that he passed away last year. But
did
he did. He's dead.
Oh, he's just like Meatloaf. R.I.P.
it. Is he gonna come back and haunt people?
He might. Well, I don't know. He might do. But I used to be addicted to that program when I was young. I used to love it. And then I remember one time they came to Edinburgh, and I was like, oh my god, this is so creepy. This is in my city. But I used to love it. And then I remember he obviously got outed as a fake like years later.
Yeah.
but I loved it. I absolutely loved that show.
I watched I watched a show recently and it was on Prime and it was something, I think it was called Celebrity Ghost Stories. And that actually kind of freaked me out a wee bit. There was one that someone told and it was this, do you know what, I don't even know any of the actors or actresses or anyone that was on it, but it was this woman actress and she was saying that she was lying in bed when she was a wee girl and there was a man in her room and he just suddenly fell onto her bed, like
Oh
he
my
like flopped
God!
down onto her bed over her legs, and it just, I couldn't sleep that night.
Right, guys, I live by myself. It's late at night, it's dark, please. Can we change the topic? I'm starting to freak out now.
Okay, do you know what I really want to see? And Tammy, you're probably one of the best people to tell this to, because right, Livingston, the alien thing.
Oh yeah.
The man, what's his name? David. I was going to say David Livingston. That's not the right person. That thing about the guy. I've actually got a video on it, and I can't remember his bloody name. But he saw a craft.
Is it Deckman, isn't it? Deckman Hill
That's
or something.
the one.
Yeah. Because
Hill.
that's right beside Bangibber. Like literally it oversees Bangibber.
You know
my God.
You know the ironic thing about this whole chat is, right? We've all talked, like we talk on like WhatsApp and that between ourselves, and we've all talked about how YouTube's a nightmare, like views drop off and people are not interested anymore. But see if we did a channel that just did this and nothing else, talked about all this creepy stuff, I bet it would explode. Like,
why have we not done any more investigations together?
Because COVID.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a pandemic.
Yeah, there's a pandemic. That bloody pile of shite.
What was it? What happened?
Trying to erase it out
we
of my
need to do
memory.
something else.
Yeah, me too. Right, okay, we got some questions actually. Some questions that were kind of sent in by some people on my Twitter, and some questions that are just kind of general getting to know you questions. I thought maybe we could dive into some of them.
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll start with the most common one, which we've all answered a billion times, but we'll do it for this episode. How did you get into YouTube? Shaun, do you want to start us off?
Aye, so for me, I was in Brazil at the time. I've mentioned Brazil already. My wife's from there, so we spend quite a lot of time out there. So it was in 2014, and I used to watch a bunch of YouTubers at that time who were like doing vlogs and stuff. And one of the guys I used to watch a lot was Casey Neistat, who's a vlogger. You guys probably, a lot of people watching or listening would know about him. And I used to love his videos and thinking that's really cool. It's a good way to tell stories, and I've always been a story, like way before YouTube, even since I was young. I've always liked to tell stories, write down wee stories and all that kind of stuff, and I've always wanted to make like films and documentaries, but I didn't really know how or what the outlet would be. But back in 2014 I was out in Brazil, and like I said, I was watching Casey Neistat as a vlogger and a couple of other vloggers as well. I was thinking, I should do that. I should talk about being in Brazil. And so the very first videos I ever made was me out in Brazil, and they were absolutely shite. Like, I'm not even joking, they were so bad. I made wee vlogs from my life in Brazil, and I just thought it would be something a bit different, like a Scottish guy out in Brazil. I didn't really click on that would become a theme, but anyway, I was just sharing stories about my life in Brazil, and that's how I got started into it. And then I came back to Scotland after a few months. And that's when I started to take it a bit more seriously, thinking this is quite fun, it's a good wee hobby. And then I started to realise, there's a couple of other YouTubers in Scotland, and it was both of you guys. And then I don't know, I can't remember exactly how it happened, but we all got in touch somehow and thinking, there's 3 of us that do YouTube in Scotland, and we started doing videos together, and that's basically kind of what kicked it off for me. And yeah, I've never really stopped or looked back since then. It's been 2014 to now. How many years is that? 6 or 7 years or something like that?
Now you're smashing it.
Yeah, you are.
I don't know. It doesn't. As I said, we talk about this on WhatsApp all the time. It doesn't feel like that sometimes, and I think the problem is that all 3 of us, we all kind of have a diverse range of topics, and I like it that way. I love talking about different things. Whether it's my life in Scotland, or whether it's travel, or whether it's food, or whatever it is. But it's really difficult to grow that way now. So you have to, like, people who grow fast, they have like one theme or one central topic, living in a van or something like that,
or like a specific media. I've noticed, like, see if a channel is dedicated exclusively to a game, or a franchise. Yeah, they do well.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it's just the way the algorithm's set up. So if you're a type of person who goes onto YouTube as a viewer and types in, I don't know, Fortnite tips, then YouTube thinks you as a viewer, somebody's going to want to watch more of those videos. And so it's going to show you the channels that are producing content on that. And if you're the channel creator and you make videos on that and it gets popular, it's going to find an audience for you. So it tends to want people to make the same type of content over and over again that's going to attract the same audience. But it's quite difficult as a vlogger to do that now. Like, all three of us have got the same frustration as, we have different interests and different hobbies. And that's why I said, like, if we decided, let's just make a ghost story channel, like, and just talked about that and nothing else, it probably would be bombing right now.
Yeah, it would.
But, like I said, we all have different interests. And that's why my main channel, it's kind of, like, it's probably never going to be massively popular or anything, but I'm going to keep doing it just because I enjoy it, and I enjoy telling stories.
Well, that's the main thing.
And the thing is, like, I think if 1,000 or 2,000 people watch it, that it's still a lot of people. Like, at the end of the day, like, if you've put them all in a room, it's a big group, eh?
Yeah, it's a big room.
But it's frustrating, when you see other channels who just talk about one thing, who've got the same number of subscribers as me, or maybe even less, who have like hundreds of thousands of views in every video because they're focused on one thing, like Scottish history, for example, or
I was going to say Scotland. Look at us when we used to do Scotland videos.
That's what kind of kicked us all off, isn't it? But then
then we didn't keep doing Scotland videos. So
it's frustrating, but like I said, I'm on my main channel. I'm not going to stick to that one thing because that's the place I want to share my life, whether it is positive things or sad things or happy things or travel or adventures around the world. And not everybody's going to like it, and that means that channel is never ever going to grow and be massive. The subscribers, I might pick up new ones, but they're all different groups of people. Like, I've got people who watch from America, from Scotland, from South America, a lot of people from Brazil now, a lot of people from Europe, and they're all after different things, and you can't appeal to all of them at the same time. And that's why I said, if you can get a group of people, like a subscriber base, who are just interested in one thing, and you just make one type of videos for these people, like the channel would be exploding. But that's just not what I want to do on my main channel. But maybe one day I'll do another channel where I just focus on one thing. Anyway, that's a long rant.
Do you know what though? You brought up some really good key points. So, and that's another reason why this podcast came about and why we wanted to start the podcast, was because we were like, right, well, we can't talk about anything and everything on YouTube, so let's just bloody do it on a podcast then. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And see where it goes. And there's less, there's less pressure, I think, from this type of media, and people can listen to it when they're driving in their cars or when they're doing housework or whatever it is that they're doing. And that's why we've got no set structure really to this, except we're going to bring a new topic to you each week or every other week, and we're just going to talk about it, and it's going to be great.
Yeah,
that's what I love about it, because I am so relaxed right now. And if you know me, you know that doing something new like this is not something I'd be crying probably, but because it's so relaxed, and I don't know, I just love podcasts, and it just feels like we're on a wee phone call just now.
Yeah.
Well, we are.
Well, we are. But yeah.
One day in the
other
future,
people are going to be listening in.
Yeah. I mean, one day in the future we might come together and film it at some point if this is something we want to do. But yeah, I totally agree. It's like it's a way that people can just listen and we can talk about whatever the heck we want. Like, we can make fun of people, we can have a laugh, we can read out our subscribers' comments that freak us out, and just general banter.
I love that was your first thing there. We can make fun of people.
I love it.
We'll
Not making fun of people, just so we're clear. I don't love making fun of people, just the fact that we can talk about whatever we want. I mean, look, if they're assholes, yeah, I do. Like,
Right.
Erin, what about you? How did you get into YouTube?
Pretty much the same as Shaun. I started watching YouTube, right when it came out. I was obsessed. I started watching people who filmed their lives. So I was obsessed with Justine, Shatards, all these people. Loved like just day in the life vlogs. And do you remember, oh God, who was that girl? She used to sit in her bedroom and then it turned out it was all fake.
Oh.
Does anyone remember? Oh, I don't know. I'll think about it. It'll come back to me later. But I used to watch her and it was so exciting. And then it turned into this big like story that obviously wasn't true. And I was so gutted because I thought it was real. Anyway, but yeah, then I thought, oh, I could do that. But then I also liked watching beauty stuff on YouTube, like stuff about, I don't know why, because see now I can't. But that's why the name Beauty Creep. That's how that came about, because it was a channel where I could film like beauty videos and creepy stories and stuff about ghosts. And then obviously eventually I was like, I don't want to do beauty stuff, so I continued talking about creepy things, but also just started kind of filming my life. And I've always filmed my life anyway with my friends and things, but I just kind of cut out the beauty stuff, but I just kept the name. And I guess now it could be like the beauty of Scotland, you know?
I like that. That's good.
But
really cool.
I just hope that no one sees that name and thinks that I'm talking about myself.
I mean, but
one
you
of my
are very
favourite-
beautiful.
Okay, Tammy, okay. Do you want me to call you Tammy or Moscow in this?
Moscow, Tammy, whatever. Honestly, the audience, I think anybody that's our pre-existing subscribers knows that I go by both now.
That's it.
Okay.
Originally, I was very much, I don't want my name out there, but it's
Yeah.
happened. So I'm like, it's fine. And if people search on Facebook and stuff, they'll get my surname and stuff. It's whatever. It's whatever.
Yeah. I did it earlier. I called you Tammy. I was like, oh, by the way, I meant Moscow. I always get it. I'm the same. Like I was always the same with my name. Like I like Shaun, but I hate my last name. So like I just don't put it in public.
Wait, you mean that your surname is not Vlog?
What?
No.
Sorry. But so for me getting into YouTube, when YouTube first kind of started back in 2005, I was one of these little idiots that sat editing videos of like The Lion King to Linkin Park.
Oh.
That was me. That was the kind of stuff that I started doing. That got me into editing and learning to video edit, and the days of LimeWire where you weren't sure if you were downloading a legitimate movie, song, or you were getting porn. Yeah, back in those days. But that was how I started editing. And actually, one of my channels, if you search Moscow Moon on YouTube, one of my old channels do come up with those videos on them. But I went through about 3 channels or something, so because I kept getting copyright strikes and the channel kept getting torn down. So, but then eventually, like, I put up a couple of videos of myself, just random vlogs, and a friend had asked me, like, could you film yourself, like, just talking some Scottishy things and send it to me. And I did a video just like that because they lived in Canada and they wanted, like, it was something to do with their stepdad's birthday. They wanted to like give a video of like somebody from Scotland because he was Scottish or something. I can't even remember. But I did a video, put it up, and then I went back to it a couple of years later and realised it had loads and loads of views. Like, it was like 8,000 views or something. But back then, for me, that was a lot of views. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so there's maybe like a niche market here for that. And then that was when I was like, right, okay, I'll do a channel. Tried one with a friend. We put up a couple of videos on it. That wasn't really taking off or doing much. And then I eventually settled into, no, I'll go full brand to Scotland, and Wee Scottish Lass was born.
Nice.
Aw.
That's a cute
Do you
story.
want to talk about how we first kind of started talking and stuff, and how like yous met first and then yous tried to message
Well,
me?
Shaun, Shaun reached out to me, didn't you, Shaun? Because
I think
like,
so, yeah.
yeah, you reached out and you asked to do, because I remember this, because you reached out to me and you were like, hey, do you want to meet up? And I was like, yeah, let's meet up at this abandoned village hospital. And you
Oh,
were
yeah,
like,
that's right.
can my dad come? I think you were genuinely scared.
And Moscow's like, "I bring your dad."
Bring it up. That was beauty creep. That was the creepiest accent voice I've ever heard. That was pretty funny.
That's
no.
how Moscow started getting views on YouTube. She was making me messages for people talking about that.
No, that's exactly what happened. I think we were meeting at this abandoned place, and I was like, is this person real, or am I going to be like ambushed? But yeah, no, it turned out all right, and we had a good laugh that day. And you know what? It was weird. I think I said this before. When I met you, Moscow, we kind of got on well, and I felt like I feel like we've been pals for a long time.
Yeah, I got that.
And then I was thinking, I remember we were talking like, who else is on YouTube in Scotland? And I was like, well, there's Erin, and she seems kind of like us as well. And we were thinking, yeah, it'll be quite. I think Moscow were like, yeah, but kind of like us, and we're all just a bit weird in our own way, and we all talk about Scotland, and we should hang out. And I can't actually remember when the first time we met is. When was it?
I remember this.
Oh no! I just want to put out before this story starts. I was terrified of other people. Okay, carry on.
So because I remember you had to explain that to us when we finally met, Erin, didn't you? So originally, like, I had tried reaching out to you a couple of times, and I think Shaun had tried a couple of times too. I can't remember, but I remember I did. And I think at one point you kind of replied and then you stopped replying, and I was like,
That's right.
Oh, what a cow.
yeah, no, well, look,
Yeah.
look. Back then I was like, I don't know if she's like just leading me on, or if she's not interested,
Oh,
or if there's
no.
something else going on here. And I was like, look, I'm going to stop because I don't want to harass her, you know what I mean? Because I think at the time you had a lot more subscribers than me
That's
and Shaun,
right.
actually, yeah. So we were
Oh,
kind of
God.
like, well, we're not gonna push our luck. We'll just leave it because we didn't want to piss anybody off. So
That
we
beauty creep
stopped.
is full of herself.
we stopped trying to get in touch with you, and then we eventually met at it was an event that happened in Edinburgh where it was like they were getting a bunch of YouTubers on for a panel to talk
And
about
then it
how
all
to
made
get into vlogging.
sense.
Yeah. And then we met you, and you were
Oh my
terrified.
God.
Erin, just as
I-
well,
I-
there was no WhatsApp back then because you would have been the topic of choice.
Yes.
You would have been getting roasted in
Honestly.
our WhatsApp group.
I do not blame you. But Tammy, do you remember when I first met you, right? I'd sweated through my shirt.
Yes.
I was so nervous. I was like,
I had
have
to meet you
change.
outside, didn't I?
Oh, it was
Because
horrendous. It was
Yeah.
like basically a panel thing for those listening that don't know. We had to do a panel. In fact, no, you two did like an actual workshop, and I did a panel. And I just can't do public speaking. I was terrified. Even like meeting new people back then it wasn't fun for me. It was terrifying. And then when I got asked to do this panel, I was absolutely shiting myself. Like,
Aye.
I was chugging bottles of water the whole time, so I kept having to pee constantly. And then, yeah, I was absolutely drenched, so I had to changed out my top. And then oh my God, it was horrendous. And then at the end, I found out there was a free bar, and I was like, no one could have told me this beforehand.
Happy days.
yeah, I remember that because I remember wishing that I could take some of that fear off you. I just was
Aw.
so desperate to just be like, leave it with me and Shaun and go up and do your panel, leave it with us, we'll be fine. But oh yeah, that was...
The
But
funny
do
thing
you know what?
is,
Go for it, Shaun.
sorry, I was going to say, like, just hearing about you, Erin, talking about that, it kind of reminds me of the fact that, and obviously I don't want to speak for you guys on this, but like, I think it's fair to say all three of us in our own ways have had like anxiety in the past, and I'm definitely somebody who's suffered massive anxiety. My anxiety is a bit different from that. I don't like to be alone in quiet places, so I'm a wee bit different. But like, nonetheless, we're all three YouTubers making videos, and we've all had anxiety problems. So it's something that a lot of people out there listening probably suffer from as well. And I get a lot of comments from people whenever I've talked about it in videos. I get loads of comments from people who are listening saying, "Oh my God, I feel exactly the same way as you, and thank you so much for speaking about it." So I think it's good that when we talk about this, Erin, like you said,
Let's
when
do
you
this.
met us.
I think we should do that as an actual episode where
Yeah.
we can
I
talk
was just
about
gonna
our
say that.
anxiety, yeah, and how we cope with it.
Yeah, definitely.
I
That'd be a
agree.
good idea.
I love that. Right,
Yeah, let's
okay.
do that.
Let's go on to a lighter question then. Let's have a look. Okay, if you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, jeez.
Um,
There's a lot of layers to this, right? Because if you're eating it for the rest of your life, do you want to choose something like my favourite foods are not the healthiest, so I love pizza, like Chinese food, like really greasy food, right? I don't eat them very often, but when I do eat them, I'm like, oh, I'd love to eat this all the time. But would you want that every day for the rest of your life?
No.
Or would you rather choose something healthy that was like, that you could, like, I don't know what the criteria is for this. Like, can you change it up? Like, for example, if you chose pizza,
Yeah.
could you put different things on it? Like,
Yes.
this question's too much for me, Tammy. I'll need to pass this over to Shaun.
yeah, if you think about it deeply, like, you couldn't just eat, because my favourite food in the world by far is like Chinese food and Asian food, right? But you're right, after you eat it, sometimes I have it one night and I'm thinking I'm never having this again, and then the next day I want it again.
Yep.
So like, you couldn't have it every day because you would end up dead for a start, right?
But then what
But-
could you have every day? Like, I don't know
So,
if there's anything I could have
so
every day.
I've got my go-to is spaghetti bolognese, right? And the reason for that is because you've got loads of vegetables in there, especially if you're like home cooking it. But you can change up the pasta to sauce ratio. So you could like change out some of the veg, you could put different ones in, you could make it hot if you wanted to add a bit of spice, you could like really change that up. Then you could have days where you've got more pasta than sauce, or days where you've got less pasta and more sauce, and you could put cheese on top if you want. It's got meat in it, it's got, I mean, like, I feel like that would be,
Yeah.
that's my
You could have healthy
go-to.
pizzas as well, I guess, couldn't you?
Maybe I'm sheltered in this, but I have never had spaghetti bolognese with like vegetables in it. What vegetables
Me
are you on
neither.
about? I'm listening to you there, and like, you're like, oh, spaghetti bolognese that has all these vegetables in it. Thinking, what spaghetti bolognese has
my-
vegetables in it?
Right, Shaun,
I'm
I'm
going,
cooking.
yeah.
I am cooking you. We'll do that as a video. Let's do that as a collab. I'll get you over,
Yeah.
and we'll cook it together, and then you'll try it. So everybody's different. Some people put mushrooms in theirs, but I hate mushrooms.
Oh,
I
mushrooms
usually
can
do.
get to hell. Sorry.
Yeah, they're awful. So you want to do your onion, you want to fry your onion alongside celery, then you put in like loads of peppers. I usually put in one of each colour, so like an orange, a green and a red to make it
Okay.
really colourful and vibrant, but you can put a yellow in if you want to. And then you've got your chopped tomatoes, which makes up your tomato sauce. And then you do your mince, and there's like so many vegetables in that already. So
That's
I
fair
don't
enough.
like mince. Confession.
Do you not like mince?
Hate mince. I don't like beef. I don't really eat a lot of meat, to be honest.
I use vegan stuff, Erin. I don't know if that would make a difference to you, but I prefer it because it's reheatable. You don't have to worry as much about like
Does it not like taste quite a lot like mince?
So it's actually mince in spaghetti bolognese doesn't have a taste because it absorbs the sauce. So it tastes of tomatoes and onions and peppers and
That's fair
garlic.
enough.
So
That makes sense. I mean, maybe when I grew up, my spaghetti bolognese came with some artificial tomato sauce, and I can tell you there wasn't a vegetable to be seen anywhere near this damn thing.
Shaun, same. Absolutely. I think we've taken this question a bit too seriously.
we probably have, but we kind of got a bit of an answer because you're right, Erin. You could do pizza and you could change out the toppings, so you could have
Yeah,
like
is
a
that cheating, though?
homemade. No, it's still a food.
Okay.
So you could
Yeah,
do loads of vegetables, or you could do like chicken and stuff on it, and you could do
I'm doing pizza.
cheese or no cheese. There you go.
I love how I'm acting as if this is actually going to happen. Like I'm pure panicking. Like, oh my god, what one am I going to pick? Yeah, pizza. Next, Kidlam.
Okay, this one, Erin, will be interesting for you actually because
Uh-oh.
like I'll let you talk about it when I say the question, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, what colour is a triangle?
Right, okay.
What?
That is interesting.
Do you want to explain why I thought this would be interesting for you, Erin?
Yeah, well, right, it depends, right? This question, I instantly thought of the shape, a triangle, obviously. But when it comes to words, all words have colours. In my head, it's called synesthesia, but you got all different types of synesthesia. So people can sometimes, when they listen to music, they can hear colour, or sometimes when people see certain, I don't know, they hear certain words, they taste something in their mouth, and everyone has a different taste and stuff like that. So it's like it's interesting. There's all different types. Some people have mirror touch synesthesia, where if they see someone that has an injury, then they feel that injury as well. It's fascinating. I've got the boring one. So I see like in my head, words all have colours, and yeah, it's interesting. But
I
the
would
word
say
triangle,
that was boring. That's so cool.
That's really cool. I've never heard of this, by the way, so I'm like fascinated.
Really? Well, your name, Shaun, like when I think of the name Shaun, it's very autumnal. Like the S, because the S is green, that kind of stands out more. But the A and the N, they're reddy orange, so it's sort of like green into like reddy orange. And yeah, but the word triangle isn't like, it's kind of black and then it's like reddy orange. The I is white. It's like it's not the nicest looking colour. But the actual shape, see, my synesthesia doesn't go that far.
So,
I'd say a triangle is green, but I don't know if I'm thinking about Quality Street.
Me too.
so when you
I said
like,
green.
so when you're like talking, or when somebody's talking with you, are you like seeing colours as you're having a conversation? I'm genuinely interested.
No.
I have no idea.
No, because people ask me that as well. Like when I'm reading, do I see words as colours? But I don't picture the words. I picture what people are saying rather than the words. Or I'll picture like what I'm reading rather than the words.
Okay.
So it's only if I actually picture the word in my head, then I can see it. But I did a Twitter thread once where I was like, tell me your name and I'll tell you what colour you are. And there was so many I couldn't keep up, but it was so much fun. And then I learned about other people's different types of synesthesia. And then some people don't see anything in their head, and that's called aphasia. And that blew my mind because people can't picture anything. Some people can't picture anything in their head, it blows my mind. But
I feel like this is another topic for another episode, isn't it? It really is.
Definitely.
That-
There's
Sure.
so much great stuff out there that we could talk about and do episodes on, and that's why I'm so excited.
I know, I'm buzzing. Yeah.
I would have said green as well, Erin. When this question first got posed to me, green came to mind as well. Shaun, what about you? What did you think of a colour of a triangle?
I thought orange, and the only reason I thought orange is because we were talking about pizza 2 minutes ago, and when you cut a pizza up into triangles, it's obviously orangey coloured, depending on what's on it.
Yeah, because you've got
Fair.
your cheese, which is yellow, and your sauce, which is red. So yeah, that's a really good point. I love that.
Trust me. Trust me to take it back to food though.
Quite right. Quite right. All right, next question then. If you could only pick one media to consume for the rest of your life, such as music, books, podcasts, movies, or TV shows, what would it be and why?
I'm leaving. I'm not doing this podcast anymore. That is one of the hardest questions I've ever been asked in my life. Shaun, any ideas?
No, I mean, I can only say the one I consume most is video in general. So like, I think I respond better to video, but I don't know the answer to it. I just say that I watch more videos, so that'd probably be my answer.
I'm sort of leaning towards that as well, because like reading, I would miss actually visually seeing things. I would miss hearing no, I think I'd need to go with video as well. I mean, I love podcasts because I like learning new things, but you can learn things through video. So you could documentaries, like stuff like that. That's really I wouldn't pick movies because as much as I love movies, but then does documentary fall under movie? Yeah.
And
even
podcasts.
Music.
But even podcasts, like I was saying, you love podcasts, right? But for me, like if I had a choice, if a podcast has a video and an audio only version, I would always automatically first go to the video version.
Agreed. Yeah, unless I'm driving. But yeah, I like to actually see people having conversations. That is a very... Tammy, what about you?
I think just because of the geek side of my life, I would have to go with... I know this because obviously gaming would probably fall into this category as well, but I'd probably have to ditch the games and I'd probably have to say it would be TV shows because you couldn't get me away from anime. You couldn't.
Yeah,
So,
I think if you just plonked me down with Netflix and was like, right, this is all you've got for the rest of your life, I'd be pretty gutted because I love music and I love reading, obviously. But I think I'd go with that as well.
it would be really hard for me to say goodbye to Harry Potter. Like, not the movies are terrible, they're fucking shite. But the books would be hard for me to say goodbye to.
Don't hold back.
And the Marvel movies and the Lord of the Rings movies, which are all big geek related things too. But I would still go TV shows. I would have to, especially right now. I'm right in the middle of Demon Slayer season 2 and Attack on Titan, the final season, and I'm obsessed.
Oh, well, there you are. So I think we did quite well with answering that one.
Yeah.
We did actually, yeah, we did. All right, well, we've got some viewer questions now.
Ooh.
So this one comes from Cohen and Nello on Twitter. What was the first music concert you attended?
Oh, jeez.
Guns N' Roses.
Oh, nice, Erin.
I was like 15, I think. I didn't go to any, unless the singing kettle counts. Does that count? I went to see that.
I love the singing kettle. Do you know that's a Scottish thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I only learned that when I started YouTube, but yeah.
Do you want to explain what the singing kettle is then? Because not a lot of the audience might know about it.
I don't know if I can. I can't really remember it other than a woman holding up a thing over her mouth and singing My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean. I couldn't actually tell you what the singing kettle is. I can't remember.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is then. So it was a children's concert that would sort of tour around Scotland, and you would go. There'd be like a little group of kids, and it was I think each episode, because you would get them on VHS, you would get them on video, were about an hour long or something.
Oh, it was brilliant.
And they would get it was called the singing kettle because partway through the concerts, quote unquote, they would do like little sketches and things, and a kettle would appear, and inside the kettle would be like a topic or something, and then they would have to sing or create a song about that topic. And obviously it was meant to come across like quite on the spur of the moment, but obviously it was very rehearsed. But I remember the Halloween episode was my favourite, and they'd done a song that was like, Mrs. White got a fright in the middle of the night, saw a ghost eating toast halfway up a lamppost. And it was just little
that's
stupid
why I'm into
things.
ghosts.
It was
You know, when
just
you were
little
singing
things
that?
like that. Yeah.
You were going Mrs. Knight, something else. I was about to think she was going to say, did I shite? Or
The
something like that.
shite, yeah.
I don't know why that came. That just came in my head.
That was on the exclusive copy. That was on the behind the scenes.
Yeah, it was brilliant. But yeah, Guns N' Roses were my first gig because I started getting into rock music when I was in high school, and then Axl Rose was very, very late on stage, and I was raging because our mums had to pick us up, and they were raging also.
This is going to sound bad, right? But and there's going to be a lot of people out there that might be outraged by this, but I've always I like music. Don't get me wrong, I like music, right? And I like bands, and I like concerts and songs nowadays more so because my wife is like a massive music head. I don't know if that's the right term for it, but she's like all about music and concerts and stuff. But when I was younger and growing up, like I just wasn't. Like it didn't. It never
No, I get
really.
that.
It never really inspired me. And like, so I can't even remember what my first gig was. I remember I did have a phase probably when I was like 13 of being obsessed with Eminem, and then further on from that, like kind of rap in general. I just liked the way that the sounds and the words of poetry came together to make rap basically. But like I was never interested in going to a concert. Like it was never something that interested me. So I can't even remember.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, exactly. I just can't remember.
Tammy's spaghetti. Sorry, carry on. I'm just yeah.
You were what? Spaghetti?
No, I was
My
just thinking of
spaghetti.
Tammy making her spaghetti.
All right.
When you said Eminem, I pictured Tammy making mince. Anyway, carry on.
No, I know. I used to be obsessed, and I even had Eminem's hair. Like I literally copied his hair.
Oh.
So I did have I had a wee phase of Eminem when I was like 13, but like I don't.
Will the real
remember...
Slim Shady please stand up? Sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, let's go for it. This is what this podcast's all about.
I am going to stop talking now.
No, you should not. I think the podcast, like the best thing about them is when people like totally take the mick out of each other. So go for it. So in terms of I can't remember my first one, but I'm more into concerts and music now, but only because my wife kind of took me in that direction and took me to a few concerts, and like I started to enjoy it a bit more later in life. But like when I was younger, so I can't remember my first one, but I want to say it was something like Foo Fighters or something like that.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
And I don't know, I can't even tell you for sure if it was a Foo Fighters, but that was one of my earliest memories of going to a gig or a concert was probably the Foo Fighters.
Oh, that's good.
That would be a great gig. I've never seen them before, but I do love them.
I tell you who is a great gig if you ever get a chance is Nickelback.
Oh yeah.
I've been to Nickelback. I've seen them.
Have you? Did you see their
Yeah.
recent one? Did you go in Glasgow?
Do you know what? I went in, I think it was the SEC, and we were late, and they were playing Soul Creek. That's Blackstone Cherry. They were playing, what's that one? It's like something ground. Burn it to the ground. Oh my God, I can't. My brain is not working today. I'm on my period, and it's just giving me the worst brain today. But it was a great gig. It was a really good gig. But I missed one of my favourite songs when I went in. So I was a bit annoyed because we were late. But it was just, everyone slags Nickelback rotten. And justice
I
for
love
Nickelback.
them. Yeah, I agree.
Honestly?
I love Nickelback, and that concert's gone down as one of my favourites. My first concert though was Leona Lewis. I got dragged by my friend Mark, but I remember seeing a girl there that had this really cool tattoo, and ever since I saw it, I've wanted something similar. So she had like Chinese writing down her spine, and I wanted to get like Japanese down my spine, and maybe one day I'll do it, but we'll see. But that's what I remember about the concert is her tattoo. Like she wasn't even anything to do with the concert, so that tells you how memorable that concert was.
Yeah. What Japanese writing would you get down your spine? Just out of interest.
So I actually have it saved on my phone. I can't remember exactly what it says, and like I can't remember the exact translation. It's like Watashi no something. But it basically I wanted it to say like I choose, like happiness is a choice and I choose to be happy.
Oh.
And when I went and spoke to my Japanese tutor at the time, and I asked her like if she could help me with it, she was like, okay, what you're wanting it to say will either make sense in English or it will make sense in Japanese, but it cannot make sense in both. And I was like, right, well, if it's in Japanese, I want it to make sense to a Japanese person reading it. If it's, you know what I mean? Like, if it's going to be like that. So she gave me, like, this translation. And I know a lot of people out there are like, do you definitely know what it says? I know enough Japanese to know what the characters mean. Like, I know what the characters are. And I know that it says what she's intending. But it doesn't fully translate back to English because the Japanese way of being happy is different to ours. Whereas ours is kind of like a pure radiant joy. Theirs is like not just health, but it's like working hard and doing your best. And so that's what a lot of the characters are saying. So effectively what it means in Japanese is something along the lines of like, you know, I choose to work hard to achieve this, and it is kind of like that, but like it obviously means like to good fortune and things too, but it just doesn't have a direct exact English translation without you completely changing it, if that makes sense.
Ton, have you got any shatoos?
Shatoos.
Shatoos. Tattoos.
No, wait a minute. Before
Shout
we need to talk about this. Before we move on, you guys rip me to shreds all the time on WhatsApp, right? Because I
deserve
always
that.
take things wrong. So I'm going to take this moment and say
Yep.
that was a classic. Shatoo.
So Ton, have you got any shatoos?
I've got, how many shattoos have I got? I've got 1, 2. I've got 3 shattoos.
Christ.
On my right hand, arm. I was going to say harm on my right arm.
Which body part?
So, but in the area between your hand and your arm, your wrist,
Just
Your forearm. Your forearm.
wrist, no wrist.
Wrist. Okay.
On the right of the wrist, on the right of my hand, I've got a fishing hook, and I got that because when I was younger, I used to go fishing quite a lot, and I was really into fishing, and I loved it. And even though I don't really do it now so much, I always want that to be like a kind of memory.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a single little fishing hook on my right wrist, and tattoos for me, like I want them to be like something that's going to remind me of like a time, or something that was important in my life. So that's that. And then on my left breast, I don't know why that's funny, but it was funny when I said
I don't know why it's funny either.
on my left breast, I've got the outline of the map of Brazil, like the country outline.
Oh, cool.
And then inside the outline, I've got another outline in the middle of the outline is Scotland. So Brazil and Scotland, which are both like on my chest over my heart.
Nice.
Just because like Scotland is obviously very important to me because I'm from Scotland, and then Brazil because I went there and I loved it, and my wife's from there, and blah blah blah. And then on my left arm, like kind of underneath, I've got the words adventure everything on it, which I kind of used as a brand for a while, but then not
You
so much
did?
anymore. It's more like just something that I want to. It's like an ideal that I want to live to, like just always be saying yes to new and crazy things, and then you never know where that might lead you. It might lead you to fun, it might lead you to chaos, and it might lead you to danger. But if you adventure everything, it means you're saying yes and doing things and pushing yourself out your comfort zone to do things that you didn't think you could do, which kind of leads back to anxiety and all the rest of it.
That's something that we made fun of you before as well for, wasn't it? When I think it was like you made an excuse or something. You said you weren't going to come out, and we were like, adventure nothing.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Sean, adventure nothing.
So basically, I
Was that
say
not
yes.
during COVID or something where you couldn't go out and we were like adventure nothing or
I
It was
can't
when
remember.
we were doing something with Gav. I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
Because Gav started the adventure nothing, and it was funny.
So I basically say yes to everything, but going out on a wee adventure with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. I understand.
I can't remember. I must have had a really good excuse.
What about you, Erin? Have you
Yeah.
got any shattoos?
I've got a wee tree. I've got a wee tree on my what's that bit called between your foot and no, I'm just kidding, on my ankle.
That was a bird.
Nice.
That was a bird.
That was a good one. I deserve that.
Yeah, I've got a tree. It's kind of wonky. I picked a tree in the local park, and I was like, I want that one. So I got that, and now it's like absolutely dying. It's the worst metaphor ever. I showed my friend Adrian. She came to visit, and I showed her the tree. I was like, oh, that's the one I've got in my leg, and she was like, that's the worst tree I've ever seen. But I mean, me and my friend Steph, one of my best friends, we got it together in Germany. She got a tree in the same place, and I like my wee wonky tree.
Oh, that's nice. That's like a tree of friendship then.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's cute. I love that.
What about you, Tammy?
So I
You got
have.
shattoos?
I've got shattoos, yeah, I do. I've got a wolf, a tribal wolf leaping off the top right of my shoulder blade.
So you do.
And I got that done at a friend's house when I was 17, because you were meant to be 18 when you get tattoos, or shattoos, I should say.
Well, it's because it's a chateau. You get it earlier.
Yeah, it was a shatoo. I got it at my pal's house. But I've actually got like where he's leaping, where his paw is on the ground. I've got a scar because our dog jumped up on me when I was getting it done, and I went back into the needle. And
Oh my God.
it still looks like the tattoo looks great, but she coloured the whole thing in using the outline needle, which is the most painful. It was a whole ordeal. Anyway, it's my fault for
Jeez.
getting it done by a non-professional. But I also have like stars on my hip, which is like the most cliche woman tattoo you can possibly get. But I also want to get, and I will be getting that this year actually, I think in October for my birthday. I plan on getting the this is my geek coming out. I plan on
I love
getting
it.
the 13th Division insignia from Bleach. So anybody listening that knows anime at all, I'm obsessed with Bleach, and like I'm obsessed with the characters Rukia and Ukitake, and they're both from the 13th Division. And
Nice.
it's like a snowdrop. I'll put it in our chat so you can see it. It's like a snowdrop, and I
That's
plan on
cool.
getting that on my wrist.
That's awesome. So it sounds like none of us have got any tattoos we regret. We have all got tattoos that are kind of meaningful for us and stuff. But I bet you, like, so many people I know have got stories of tattoos that they had when they were like 16 or 18 or whenever you're allowed a tattoo that they regret. So maybe we could ask people listening if you've got any shatoos
Yeah.
that you regret, or ones that have like deformed in funny ways. We want to see them, and we'll make an episode roasting them.
Oh yeah,
God,
let's go for
yeah.
it.
That would need to be a video one, I think. Maybe that could be the first, like, if we decide to do video, we could do, that could be our first episode.
Yeah.
That would be so
Roasting
good. Yeah,
tats.
that'd be hilarious.
No, there's so many different angles and things we could talk about. Like, I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, I am very excited about doing a podcast episode all about I want to do one all about maladaptive daydreaming and lucid dreaming and things. So
Oh, yeah.
look forward for that. Look forward to that coming.
I'm intrigued by
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I'm excited to teach people about it as well. If anybody's listening, don't look it up, don't Google it. We will do an episode on it. Wait there. All right, Richard Mandez has asked cats or dogs.
Dogs.
I hate this question.
I never used to be a cat person, but my friend Steph again, she used to have 3. And they were the friendliest things ever, and they're so cute. And now I love cats, and yeah, pussy power.
I would always say, like, I think my answer is pretty similar to yours, Erin, because I grew up with dogs. Always, my grandparents always had dogs when I was a kid, and I've always loved dogs. But later on, like as I grew up, we had a few cats as well, and I really liked them too. And some of my friends have got cats, and I love cats as well. So for me now, like originally I would say dogs, but now is like both. I'm a boffy.
A bothy?
A buffy.
A bothy? No, I kind of get that, but I remember I was talking about this with my mum and dad the other night. I went to their house for dinner, and they were talking about how obsessed I was with dogs when I was a kid. Like it was ridiculous. I used to write all these dogs down in my diary, and I had like 20 dog invisible friends. And then I used to get my dog book, and it was like a dog breed book, and I used to like cover the names and say to my mum and dad, like, test me. So now I just like have all this stupid knowledge of dog breeds because I memorized this book when I was a kid. Ridiculous. Anyway, Tammy, what about you?
That's so cute. I'm very allergic to cats, and while I love watching them on TikTok, I think cats are funnier by far. They make the funniest TikTok videos. I would have to give my vote to dogs because we've got little Roxy as my mum's dog, and I absolutely love her.
Oh, bless Roxy.
Yeah.
To Roxy. Cheers.
If we ever do an in-person podcast, we'll need to have Roxy there, like as a mascot.
I was just going to say she could be our mascot.
She could. She's so sweet. She's so sweet. All right, and then we've got we've got 2 left. We could probably get the 2 of these in. We should be able to get 2 of these in.
We've timed this so well.
We're doing really well for time. We're doing really well.
And my earphones have lasted, but now I've jinxed it. Touch wood. Okay.
Shh. Anyway. Okay. So Sarah
Erin
with
has
an
left the
H.
chat.
Sarah with an H has said, where or who in history would you visit? So like where in history, if there's a particular place or time in history, or if there's a particular person in history.
I think person is too hard. I cannot think. There's too many. But see, whenever I listen to, like, I love 80s music. And whenever me and my friend Amy, we always have nights in, doing it tomorrow night actually, and we sit in hers, we have a few drinks, and we just put YouTube on, but we put we add to the playlist, and it's always 80s songs, and we're always watching it going, we were born in the wrong time. We always like think how good it would be to go and see these songs live, or like be in a club or something, or a disco, and like hearing like this music coming out. I just think that would be so much fun. Or go to like a festival and it's that 70s, 80s music. Oh, I'd say like around that time. If I could come back.
That's a really good one. Like the 70s and 80s, I totally agree. Like that's the type of music I totally vibe with. 70s
I think
disco.
if we picked, I love disco, but see, I think if we picked any time before that, it'd be a bit dicey.
Yeah. It's a hard question though, because like you said, like there's so many people in history that were, fascinating characters, and you'd love to know more about them, and like, so I find that difficult to kind of go with as well. But I guess for a time, I've just because I've done a lot of videos on this, like when the Jacobite time, when the Jacobites were fighting against the British Army. I think that's quite a fascinating time in Scottish history. I don't know, maybe you could like counsel them on how the outcome could have been different. I'm not that might not have been a good thing ultimately for Scotland.
Changing history. I love it.
Yeah, all right. Back to the Future.
Yeah, I know. It'd be like, Bonnie Prince Charlie, you're an arsehole. Sit back down and shut up.
Yeah. What is it they call it? Is it the butterfly effect or something?
No, that freaks me out. Like, just thinking about that.
Okay.
That's like, no, I love it. I could talk about it all day. That's the problem. Like, see, reading that Stephen Hawking book, it talks about like space time and going back in time, and why can we remember the past but we can't remember the future? And it's just like, I sat like, what is time? And yeah, stuff like this messes me up. I love it.
I love that stuff as well. When you start thinking about like stars and the universe and planets and stuff, that blows my mind.
Don't get me started.
There's an episode
you
there.
started.
I nearly snorted. Nice.
I would probably go right. So I'm not a big history nerf or buff or whatever. Like, I'm really not. I'm not bothered about history. I know I should care more about it than I do. And while I would love to just say I would go back in time and shoot Hitler, or something like really obscure or random like that, I actually one of my biggest regrets ever was not seeing Linkin Park live before the lead singer passed away. So I would actually go back in time to attend a Linkin Park concert.
That is a good one. That's a very specific, solid answer. Well done.
That is a good one.
Thank you.
We're pure good on about the Jacobites and Hitler and all this, and she's like,
I know, and I'm like, Linkin Park.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Right, the final question, the final one I've got here, and this, I want you to break down all barriers, right? I want you to just like pretend that no barrier exists in your life, okay?
Whoa.
What would be your secret dream? Like, if you could do a dream job or event or like challenge, but there was no barrier standing in your way, what is your ultimate dream?
Who's going first? Me?
Shaun.
All right, I'll go. This is an easy one for me because I've always had the same dream.
Okay.
I've always wanted to make TV programs and like present them. Something like a Louis Theroux type of person, right?
Oh.
I've always wanted to make documentaries like that. Always, ever since I was a kid. And that, that goes back to why I started a YouTube channel, because there's always been like a middleman in making TV. Always been a middleman, and you kind of get through them. That is a barrier. And so I thought, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to make my own videos. But if there was no barrier, I would be making TV programs.
Love that. Louis Theroux is amazing. I think you'd be well good at that.
I'd love to. I mean, I don't know exactly what the style would be. Would it be something like Louis Theroux, or would it be something like Anthony Bourdain, who does like travel and cooking shows? Well, he did before he passed away. But something like that. Like I always wanted to tell stories on video, on TV, and there's just always been like that middleman barrier to try and actually make it happen.
See, that would be amazing, but I think I'm just too nervous for stuff like that. But similar, but not quite. Like,
but
with
remember,
kind
though,
of, like,
Erin,
storytelling.
nothing exists, no barrier exists, so you wouldn't be nervous. So pick based on...
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to think of it in that way. So I think for me, I think writing a book.
Oh, yeah.
I've always wanted to write a book, and I'm not exactly doing anything right now to make that happen. But I think, it's something you could do at any point in your life. And I think one day I am going to have a book.
You should do it, and we'll remember this day.
Yeah. Oh, we could go back to this podcast, but I can see the thought of, like, see when I see people that I follow talking about writing a book and then they actually hold it in their hands, I'm always like, oh, I just love it. It's my favourite. So I think that would be amazing. What about you, Tammy?
I was about to say, actually, I started writing a book ages ago, because obviously I write a lot of fan fiction. I actually have over 2 million words worth of online fan fiction at this time.
Holy moly.
My God.
That's a lot. For any
Over
audience
how
members
long?
listening, to be fair though, that's been, how long have I been writing the fan fiction for now? About 4 years?
That's amazing.
That's
4
awesome.
years?
I mean, this is something like, what are some of the craziest things you didn't know about someone? And then Tammy's like, I've wrote 5 billion words of fan fiction. That's amazing.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so that's my nerd coming out. But I did actually, before I got into that writing fan fiction, I actually tried writing a book. And the premise was, I liked the idea, and I still like the idea, and maybe one day I'll return to it, but we'll see. But for me, if there was no barriers existed at all, I would want to be a professional snowboarder, like going to the Olympics and stuff, that kind of thing, because it's so out there, it's so far from anything I do right now. That's something that I would love to experience,
I
but
just thought of mine.
I couldn't do big air, and I couldn't do half pipe. I think it would have to be slope style. It
That
would
is
have to be
such a good one. And you just, like, I never even thought of stuff that I genuinely can't do when you asked that question, even though you specified no barriers. But I just thought, see, when I see, I love musicals, and see performing on the West End, oh my, like, I am not
That
talented
would be
in
a
that way
good one.
whatsoever. But see if I could sing and dance, holy shit, that would be. That, I think that would be the most fun ever. Like, I was obsessed with Cats when I was wee. Not
I
like
loved
actual
cats too.
Yeah, that musical was amazing. But I just always wished that I was able to do that, and I could actually do the dances. I sometimes do it at my friend's house after a few gins. Rum Tum Tugger.
Rum Tum Tugger, we spoke about this ages
We
ago,
did.
Erin, didn't we? The Rum Tum
We
Tugger,
actually-
yeah.
Yeah, but no, I loved it. See, being in a West End, oh my god, that would be amazing. So I'd pick that actually, and a book.
That's pretty cool.
No barriers, you could do both.
Yeah, at the same time.
Yeah, being up on stage writing a book.
By the way, this has been so much fun.
This has been so good.
Yeah,
Oh.
definitely. Everyone's like, clock's ticking. This has been fun. It's been good speaking to you, but my spaghetti bolognese is cooking.
I just saw we were at the hour mark, and I didn't know how long we were going to record these for, so I was like slightly panicked.
But there might be a subject that we end up just like talking like for 4 hours about.
Oh yeah.
And people will like that anyway.
You're editing that one, Shaun.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that.
Right, okay, so hopefully the audience has had the chance to get to know us a little bit from this. If this is your first time discovering us through this media, and if you're not coming from any of our other social medias that we're going to be advertising this on, then please do check the show notes for this podcast episode. I will have a link to all of our YouTube channels and our social medias in there. So if you're listening on Spotify and things, please go and have a look. If you have the time and you're on iTunes or other platforms, we would really appreciate it if you gave us a like and a review. That would be great. We would love to get a 5-star review. Please don't leave us any less than that, or I will come for you. Maybe that'll make people leave us less than that, actually. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
You just jinxed it.
I just jinxed it. Wait a minute, Moscow's going to appear in my room? Well, let me bloody rate them a 1-star review. No. We would appreciate any feedback, so any reviews you could give us would be appreciated. But it's time that we Haud Yer Wheesht, and we will catch you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Cheerio. Cheerio.